In the Heaven Saga, new gods reveal themselves as the main enemies of Athena in the final phase of Knights of the Zodiac. And as we know, Athena's army is completely destroyed. The 12 gold saints are dead. Therefore, the main and most powerful front line of the sanctuary no longer exists. However, something unexpected might happen in this Heaven Saga. The surviving saints will inherit the gold cloths. Hello, Saints and Amazons. Welcome to the Semperquis Saber channel. I'm Wes. And in today's video, I'm going to show you which saints, alongside Seiya and the others, might take on the gold cloths in the Heaven Saga. Did you like the topic? So comment below who you think could be the 12 new gold saints in this final Saint Seiya saga. And, of course, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and let's get into this awesome video. Always. To get started, we need to logically talk about the 5 legendary bronze saints who have already reached a cosmos beyond the 8th sense, being able to awaken the divine cloths in the Hades saga. The transition of Seiya and his friends to the Golden Elite is not just a matter of merit, but a prophecy that has been unfolding since the first sagas, and was confirmed in the Next Dimension saga, where the Knights of the past recognized each of the 5 bronze saints as their legitimate successors. So, let's start with him. Knight number 1, Seiya of Sagittarius. Born on December 1, saint under the sign of Sagittarius, Seiya has always been closely connected to the constellation of the Winged Centaur. The Sagittarius gold cloth chose him and protected him in critical moments, such as in the battle in the forest against the Silver Saints, in the final confrontation against Ikki of Phoenix, and in the depths of Poseidon's temple. The spirit of Aiolos of Sagittarius recognized Seiya as the true heir to his unwavering will. Seiya may stop being just the Pegasus who clears the way with his meteors to become the central pillar of leadership in the sanctuary, wielding the sacred bow and arrow, capable of wounding the Olympian gods themselves. Knight number 2, Shiryu of Libra. Born on October 4th, Shiryu is the rightful heir to the Libra constellation. Trained at the 5 Peaks of Rozan by the legendary Old Master, Doku of Libra, Shiryu not only learned the devastating techniques of the Dragon's Wrath, but also inherited the relentless sense of justice and the wisdom necessary to wear the armor that carries the 12 weapons of the sanctuary. Doku always knew that Shiryu would be his natural successor. In the Heaven Saga, Shiryu will definitively take on the role of Guardian of the 7th House, balancing the scales of cosmic justice with his blazing Cosmo. Knight number 3, Hyoga of Aquarius. Born on January 2nd, 3 RD, Hyoga has his destiny sealed with the Aquarius constellation. The Swan Knight went through hellish training in the icy lands of Siberia under the strict tutelage of Camus of Aquarius, and the relationship between master and disciple was marked by extreme trials, culminating in the iconic Battle of the House of Aquarius, where Hyoga surpassed his mentor, reached absolute zero, and mastered the Aurora execution. Camus sacrificed his own life so that Hyoga could awaken the Supreme Cosmo. Therefore, Hyoga's rise as the new Gold Saint of Aquarius is one of the purest and most emotional passing of the torch moments in the entire work, establishing him as the absolute master of eternal ice. Saint number 4, Shun of Virgo. Born on September 9th, Shun has the astrological sign of Virgo. This connection was canonically made official during past events, where Shaka of Virgo himself recognized Shun as the next man to take the position of Virgo Saint. Shaka, known as the man closest to God, saw in Shun's pacifist and incredibly powerful soul the qualities needed to rule the 6th house. Despite his gentle nature and having been the vessel of Hades himself, Shun's Cosmo is one of the most vast and overwhelming in the Saint Seiya universe. By taking on the Virgo armor in the Heaven Saga, Shun will bring a new perspective of compassion and spiritual enlightenment to the Golden Elite. Knight number 5, Ikki of Leo, born on August 15th. Ikki is of the Leo sign, known for his fierce and aggressive temperament, as well as his unwavering loyalty that burns like the fires of hell. The Phoenix finds its final home in the 5th house of the Zodiac. The Leo Kaiser himself recognized Ikki's worth and immense strength, naming him as the legitimate heir to his legacy of bravery. The lion is the symbol of indomitable courage, traits that perfectly define Ikki's journey, the man who always rises from the ashes to crush his enemies. In the Heaven Saga, the Leo gold cloth will have a bearer whose determination is strong enough to shake the very foundations of Olympus itself. And guys, after these 5 legendary saints take on 5 of the 12 classic gold cloths, we still have 7 cloths waiting for their new saints. And with that, we have some amazing possibilities for who might be the saints to wear these cloths in the Heaven Saga. Many fans forget, but the 12 Zodiac constellations guide the destiny of all human beings, based on the day they were born. In the sanctuary, this means that any saint, regardless of rank, or even the secondary bronze saints, have a direct astrological correspondence with the gold cloths. With the lack of personnel in the imminent divine war, the mystical forces of the sanctuary summon these warriors to take on responsibilities much greater than they could ever imagine. And now let's see which other characters might take on this responsibility. Knight number 6, Gecko of Taurus. Born on May 15th, Gecko belongs to the sign of Taurus. The bear saint has always stood out for his colossal physique and his impressive brute strength, demonstrated in the galactic tournament when he almost strangled Seiya with his powerful arms. The Taurus gold cloth, historically worn by warriors of massive size and formidable physical endurance like Aldebaran, fits perfectly with Gecko's characteristics. A few years ago, after years of working in the rear and helping train new recruits at the sanctuary, Gecko finds in the Heaven Saga the perfect opportunity to raise the impenetrable defense of the second Zodiac house, honoring the legacy of the great Aldebaran with his unquestionable loyalty. An interesting fact is that Gecko was once named as the successor of Taurus Aldebaran in the Requiem episode Saga. Knight number 7, Nat of Cancer. Born on July 20th, Nat is a Cancer, originally the Bronze Knight of the Wolf constellation. Nat has always been a tactical warrior, using the wolf's howl to destabilize his opponents. The House of Cancer, which became known for the dark, cold, and cruel history of Deathmask, needs a complete spiritual renewal. Nath, with his team spirit developed through years of camaraderie and mutual support with his fellow Bronze Saints, takes over the 4th house with the mission to purify the place. Knight number 8, Bande of Capricorn. Born on December 30th, Bande is a Capricorn. Although his participation in the main battles of the franchise was limited, Bande of Leo Minor possesses impressive resilience. The Capricorn sign is known in astrology for its strict discipline, seriousness, and stubborn dedication to hard work. Capricorn's gold armor. It requires a warrior whose body is forged like a true sharp blade. When summoned to protect the 10th house in the Heaven Saga, Bande will go through a process of spiritual and physical evolution, channeling his Cosmo to fill the void left by Shura, and proving that even the most discreet of soldiers can rise as a bastion of loyalty to Athena. Knight number 9, Jabu of Scorpio, born on November 3rd. Jabu is a Scorpio. During his childhood and the Galactic Tournament, Jabu always showed a proud, impulsive personality and a devotion that bordered on obsession for the safety of Sarikedo. These characteristics of emotional intensity, burning passion, and controlled aggressiveness are trademarks of the knights who rule the constellation of Scorpio, like the feared Milo. Jabu never accepted being left behind in the race for power and kept training tirelessly in the shadows, while the protagonists faced the gods. And by inheriting the gold cloth of Scorpio in the Heaven Saga, Jabu finally gains the recognition he always sought, turning his old inferiority complex into a lethal, golden stinger to defend the sanctuary. Knight number 10, Ichi of Aquarius. Born on February 10th. Ichi is an Aquarius. However, Ichi's fate within Athena's army is very different. Unlike the other secondary knights who managed to raise their cosmos to synchronize with the golden armors, Ichi has clear technical limitations and a fighting style completely focused on the poisonous claws of his Hydra constellation. More importantly, the Aquarius gold armor already has an absolute and unquestionable heir, which is Cygnus Hyoga. Hyoga holds complete mastery of Absolute Zero and is the direct successor of Camus. For this reason, Ichi will continue to serve firmly as a valuable bronze saint, providing tactical support in the defense of the sanctuary's peripheral areas and accepting his role with the dignity of a true war veteran. Saint Gnome 11, Junie of Aries. Born on April 17, Junie of Chameleon is under the sign of Aries. She is a relatively skilled warrior, trained on Andromeda Island alongside Shun, using her whips and her techniques of concealment and camouflage in an occult manner.
Ação e camuflagem de forma magistral.
However, the first house of the Zodiac has an extremely strict mystical line of succession, which prioritizes the teachings of armor restoration and the direct inheritance from Mu of Aries. As a young person who perfectly fulfills all these sacred and traditional requirements, Uni could not claim the golden cloth. She prefers to continue providing her indispensable strategic support with her bronze chameleon armor, ensuring the internal security of the Greek borders, while the elite marches to the divine war. Night number 12. Kiki of Aries. Born on April 1st, Kiki is, without a doubt, the most undisputed name to take over the first house. Zodiac being a true Muyan, descendant of the ancient race, who possesses the ability to communicate with the essence of the armors. Kiki spent his entire childhood as the prodigy disciple of Mu of Aries. He learned not only the defensive and offensive combat techniques, like the crystal wall and the starlight extinction, but also the sacred art of repairing the warrior's armors. His loyalty was tested when he protected the Libra armor with his own life during the Poseidon Saga. Kiki is the perfect heir to keep the tradition of the House of Aries alive. Night number 13. Marine of Pisces. Seiya's master is an important character who has been present since the first chapter of the classic saga. She hasn't made her debut in the Heavens Saga yet, but we know that Eagle Marin is a silver saint who is always investigating events and the intentions of the enemies. Marin was born on March 18th, so her zodiac sign is Pisces. Therefore, there's a good chance we'll see her taking up Aphrodite's former armor. That would also be a very interesting reference, since Marin was the one who helped Seiya get through the poison rose garden during the Battle of the 12 Houses. Night number 14. Sheena of Ophiuchus. As we know, Sheena is the silver saint of the Ophiuchus constellation, which is the same legendary constellation that in the past was the 13th house of the sanctuary.
Ação de Ophiuchus, sendo essa a mesma
Therefore, in the past, it was the 13th house of the Zodiac. Therefore, there is a possibility that Sheena could become a gold saint in the Heaven Saga, with her armor awakening its mythological powers and becoming completely golden. As a fun fact, Sheena was born on March 24th. Therefore, her zodiac sign is Aries. However, as we saw in this video, two other characters who could also wear the gold cloth are Aries as well, and I also believe that Sheena wouldn't really match with this armor. The transition of the main bronze saints to the level of gold saints represents the closing of an epic cycle, planned by the author Masami Kurumada since the very beginning of the story. For now, only Seiya, Shiryu, Hyoga, and Ikki have the power, experience, and recognition necessary to take on the roles as the new Gold Saints. But, as we know, the other characters presented here in this video who could take on the other armors for the most part have not appeared in the manga's story for quite some time. Therefore, when some of them reappear, we might be surprised by their level of power. It's likely that many of them were training to become stronger, to help Athena, Seiya, and the others on the front lines of the battles. But what about you? Did you like the video? Leave a comment and let me know, and of course, thank you for watching until the end and see you next time. May your infinite Cosmo burn.